right, I'm back in the dry slab. Thanks for inviting me. I invited myself this
Yes.
time, but I said, Scott,
we welcome that.
I don't need to do this to Evo. You started laughing at me, right?
Well, privately, just in my own office.
I was like, no, I don't need the Evo. It's got 1,900 miles on it. It's perfect. And then when I put it on the lift, I was like, oh, that's why he was laughing at me. So this car's covered in a dealer installed, we think some form of cosmoline, but it's like a gummy, tar-based, waxy goop.
Yeah.
That like if I mean just touch
Oh,
it,
yes.
just,
Yes.
all you do is just barely touch it. But I'm excited to get my car dialed. So just to update everybody, we're going to use the machine. We're going to use the ICO 30.
EVO 2.
Which is the EVO 2 machine, which is the all-purpose. You know, so it's quite a bit more affordable than the 410, the big boy. But I like to use this one because it's more practical for me. You know, more practical for shops to start out.
It is the least expensive single hose dry ice machine, which is what gives you the force to take this stuff off at $12,500.
And full particle selection. You know, so we can do finer interior detail work. I don't think I need to do any detail work in the interior on this thing. We're going to do fender wells. I have the plastics off the front, so we're going to do a couple of pieces of plastic that'll take a few minutes because I don't think they undercoat any of that. But we don't need to take the fender liners out or anything because underneath there, I had them out. It looks perfect.
Really nice,
so we can just do the surface level on that. But the 030 machine, I think, is going to be what we need.
Yeah, we've done a dozen cars with it so far. We've got the guys that are out using them already, are posting all over. You can find it pretty easily. Pretty exciting machine. It really is. I mean, I think probably a key point is it doesn't require three-phase power. The compressor to power this machine doesn't require three-phase, so it opens up a whole opportunity for people that are struggling with that power issue.
So my sales pitch to you, go to dricenation.com. I would suggest you join the Patreon group, and then you probably want to book a trip down here to get trained. And you could be doing this and charging hundreds of dollars an hour to start a career, or maybe make it a side hustle or additive to your dealership or something like that. So,
yeah, it's a strong tool in the arsenal.
Yeah, so we're gonna get started, get suited up, and get moving on this thing. We're serious here. This is a really nasty job because this is wet, like sticky. Whereas some cars, like especially older cars, the stuff gets hard and brittle. And so it kind of turns into dust, where this is going to be, I'm going to be black. This is going to be gross. I like my double XL. It gives me a little 90s vibe, I feel a little more.
Blue collar today here.
Yeah, that's how I do, man.
Yeah. Like you're about ready to do some asbestos abatement or something.
Yeah. About to do some cleaning up some poo, some raw sewage.
Yeah, there you go.
Got some raw sewage removal. Yeah.
Septic service work, that's good.
Yep.
The mixer out.
Yep.
So we can control, obviously, the air pressure.
Yep.
So that's kind of the intensity, or how hard it's going to go after what we're trying to clean.
So this is where the time under machine comes in. This is where the expertise comes in.
Yeah,
right?
there's three settings. There's the size of the particle.
Yep.
There's the amount of particle you're flowing at any given time, or the volume.
Yep.
And then there's the air pressure.
Gotcha.
Right, so air pressure is kind of how aggressive you want to be with it. The size of the particle is really dependent on the type of surface you're trying to clean and the type of contaminant you're trying to clean. There's a combination of settings there. And then the flow, or the volume of ice, is really about how fast you want to go. So if you know what you're cleaning and there's no risk, you can turn it all the way up and you can flow as much ice as possible. It'll just go faster. But if you're trying to do something that's maybe you're really sensitive, or you've never done it before and you don't want to damage anything, you slow it way down. It gives you more time, so if you start to see something, starting to get damaged, or it's taking something off you don't want, it gives you time to react. Right? So it's all about speed.
And so is this kind of like polishing, where I want to try to start out gentle and work my way up?
Absolutely. Yeah. Or, I mean, it's that, and that's where someone that's done 100 cars.
You'll know, right.
Like I can come to the set, I know what that coating is going to do, and so I just start out with what I know works. Versus, same thing with paint correction, right? Like if you've never done the paint on a car,
right, it's going to take longer.
Start easy, see if it's soft, see how the stuff comes off, and then keep going.
All right, so then all we do, since now it has air, we load it up with ice.
That's right, 4 scoops. And that ice will last at a sort of a low flow rate. We'll start at about 4.
Yeah, where we're gonna start.
Right there, and that'll last about 20 minutes.
Then we're gonna do full pellets.
We're gonna do full pellet. So for this cleaning, you've got a thick particle, which is your cosmoline or tar or whatever that coating is.
Yeah.
The bigger the pellet, the more impact you have to remove it.
Okay.
The other thing is what we found, it's a little counterintuitive. You think a small particle would be better for paint, like if you don't want to damage paint, but actually the big particle with lower pressure is a much better setting for not damaging paint. So we'll turn the pressure down, start at a nice low pressure, and then work our way up as we get comfortable with what the car can take.
You got mini hands. You don't know is I'm going to talk Mike and Matt into basically doing this whole thing. I'm like, I got to stay on the camera here. You know, I got to host.
I had a trucker walk in here one day, and he goes like, "Oh, I was watching this guy in Obsessed Garage do that dry ice, and he had some old guy working with him."
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Here, put these on, even though he doesn't.
I'm getting hot.
Are you starting, or you want me to start?
No, you're doing. Talk them into doing the whole thing for me. It's been great. Just watch. I'll end up doing nothing. So I'm going to do the plastics real quick. Scott's making some fresh ice on his special ice making machine. He says the other stuff is better. I'm just freaking going at it. But you know, pretty dirty. I'm waiting on fresh ice. Let's go.
Going back in?
Focus, Scott, focus. I got a job to do here.
Big picture.
Yeah, you go to the big picture and I'll clean the car and make the videos. Fighting this thing.
Pull the hood back.
Driving me freaking crazy. Sending Mike in. Where's Mike? I'm sending him in. Got about 1/10 of the car done.
Matt got all the clean places dirty again.
Yeah.
Hey Mike,
How are we doing, buddy?
you know, tow the car, clean the car, whatever it takes, buddy. You ready? You sure about that?
this is the Kaiser solution. You've had this for what, 3 years now? Something
About
like
2.5 years, yeah.
Yeah. 40 horse rotary screw, 3-phase compressor, wet tank, 250 gallon wet tank, or you have filtration on the back.
Yep.
These are Kaiser lines, 2.5 lines.
Inch and a half.
Inch and a half lines. Yep. Into the nano desiccant dryer. After it goes to the dryer, you have the 250 gallon dry tank.
Right.
And then we're out. And so this is capable of delivering what, 200 PSI?
175 PSI, and depending on what nozzle you have, that's the part to always remember. People get caught up on what a compressor can do. The CFM is relative to what nozzle you have, but 200 plus or minus CFM.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to be using today.
Yeah.
Super quiet actually for what it's producing.
Yeah.
But this is here, and then it's delivered through inch and whatever half lines.
All the way over to the booth.
All the way over to the booth. All right. So best news of the day is Scott says you're not getting it finished today, and I said okay. Well, how do we get it finished? And he's like, well, I'm going to finish it. I said, well, what do I need to be here? I'm just going to leave now. So it's like 2 o'clock. We got a decent little chunk done here. See, Mike just worked on this section. Matt worked on that section. I kind of fumbled through that. And it's really not that much. I mean, we could finish it today if we really humped it, but I think the thing to do is to leave it to the experts. That's my plan.
So we're pretty excited. We finally finished Matt's car for him. You know, when you're working with someone that's OCD, it's super hard to like be finished. And I could probably still spend a couple hours. We ran into a very interesting aspect of this car in that it had black undercoating that was super sticky, made Matt look like he came out of the water as a Navy SEAL when he was working under the car, and that's what he wanted to get rid of. As soon as we got rid of it, we discovered we had this like sound deadener factory yellow coating, which is fine for the bottom of the car. Like most Porsche, Mercedes, BMWs that we work on, they have that too. And there's overspray that comes in from the side. But what about the wheel wells? And so we posted immediately, you know, that the stuff has come off really nicely, but we had this yellow undercoating in the wheel wells that, it didn't really look that great. So we took the Porsche, Mercedes, BMW mentality, and we color matched the wheel wells to fit the car. So that's the beauty of dry ice. You can go all the way and clean it molecularly so that it's prepped and ready for paint and it's gonna stick. So now we have color matched wheel wells, which I think looks fantastic, especially with the choice of wheels right now. I can tell you this is the first full 14-hour job start to finish that I've done with the 030 ICS machine, and it was fantastic. Like, it's the machine that we've been waiting for a couple of years. I will tell you one last thing that was so cool in this car. Matt doesn't like all the little crayon marks and the ink marks and like all the crazy stuff that the factory puts on these cars, and a lot of really picky people like. He's like, take all that stuff off. So it's the first car that I was ever able actually just to go crazy and not have to worry about that. So that was nice. So back here real quick. One of the things that is very typical of the spare tire wells on most cars is they protrude significantly down below the bumper line. We were considering to spray the color of the car like we did the wheel wells, but it's so tucked up underneath there that we just don't think it's necessary. You're never gonna see it. And the beauty of this, now that we're done, this is the part I think people mostly miss. Now that it's clean, you don't get dirty and you can keep the car clean. This is the part that people don't understand about that black, sticky undercoat. Yeah, it's great if you're gonna put 100, 200,000 miles on the car in 20 years. I don't like it because when you pierce that product and moisture starts to get in behind it, it actually retains water. I would rather, I mean, if it was so great, you'd spray the top side of your car with it, right? But no, it doesn't look good and you can't clean it. Now you can clean this car. You can get underneath there, like the E36 looks awesome still to this day. We did that 2 years ago. I like the fact that now you can go through and you can clean this car, every single part and piece, you can clean it.